Television has always given us icons, faces that become part of our everyday lives. We laugh with them, cry with them, and grow up alongside them. But as time moves forward, some quietly fade away, while others leave in a way that makes the world stop for just a moment. Kelly Ripa is one of those names. For over 2 decades, her laughter, warmth, and quick wit lit up America's mornings. Every smile, every story, every spontaneous laugh felt genuine. She wasn't just another TV host, she was a companion, a confidant, and to many, part of the family. But one morning, the familiar sparkle that fans had known for years felt different. It wasn't another episode of Live. It wasn't another casual broadcast filled with jokes and banter. It was something deeper, something final. Without any glossy press release, without rumors leading the way, Kelly Ripa said her goodbyes, live, in real time, to millions who had welcomed her into their homes for over 20 years. And when she spoke, the world fell silent. It was a routine morning for viewers. Coffee brewing, kids getting ready for school, and that familiar energy coming through the screen. But behind the scenes, Kelly's colleagues sensed something unusual. She arrived early, calm, reflective. Her voice softer than usual, her smile steady but tinged with emotion. As the countdown to Live began, she looked around the studio, her second home for 2 decades. The cameras, the lights, the stage, every inch of that set carried a piece of her history. Stories, laughter, confessions, and tears, all lived right there in that very spot. When the red light turned on, millions of Americans saw Kelly smile once more. But behind that smile was a heart carrying the weight of goodbye. When she began to speak, her voice trembled, not out of fear, but out of love. She thanked the people who had shared this journey, her co-hosts, the crew who had become like family, and the viewers, those countless strangers who weren't strangers at all. They were her people. And then she said the words that froze the studio in time. "This will be my final broadcast." For a moment, no one breathed. The studio audience fell into stunned silence before gasps rippled through the crowd. The woman who had brought laughter to millions was saying farewell live and unfiltered. No headlines, no leaks, no rehearsed lines, just Kelly. Raw, emotional, and real. Her co-host reached for her hand, his eyes glistening, the audience rising to their feet in applause and disbelief. This wasn't just a career milestone, it was the end of an era. Kelly Ripa's journey began long before she was the face of Live. Before the fame, she was a young actress on All My Children, full of energy and dreams. When she joined Live with Regis and Kelly in 2001, no one could have predicted the magic that would follow. Her chemistry with Regis Philippin was instant, the kind of spark that can't be scripted. Viewers fell in love with their easy banter, their humor, and their genuine friendship. Morning after morning, Kelly proved herself not just as a host, but as a storyteller, someone who could connect effortlessly with anyone who sat beside her. She carried that same charm as she co-hosted alongside Michael Strahan, then Ryan Seacrest, and most recently, her husband Mark Consolos. Each era of Live reflected a different chapter of her life, evolving, growing, yet always remaining authentically Kelly. But behind the bright lights and laughter, there were challenges few saw. Television is demanding, emotionally, mentally, and physically. For 20 years, Kelly showed up every single morning with her signature energy, even when life behind the scenes wasn't perfect. She balanced motherhood, marriage, fame, and a relentless schedule. She faced health issues, personal pressures, and the emotional toll that comes with being on every day. In earlier interviews, she often hinted at exhaustion, that delicate tug between career and family, between giving everything to her audience and saving something for herself. And so, while her farewell came as a shock to many, perhaps it was also the closure she quietly prepared herself for. A moment of peace after years of pouring her soul into the work she loved. When her farewell aired, tears filled the studio. Her voice cracked as she thanked the people who made it all possible. Her loyal fans, her production team, her friends, and her family. You've welcomed me into your homes every morning. You've shared your lives with me. And you've let me share mine with you. For that, I'll be forever grateful. The crowd stood in silent awe, many crying openly. Even through her trembling voice, Kelly radiated the same warmth that had made her famous. The camera captured every emotion, the tears of her co-hosts, the trembling smiles of her crew, the bittersweet applause of her live audience. Clips from her 20 years on the show played across the screen, her funniest moments, her most heartfelt interviews, her spontaneous laughter, her moments of vulnerability. It wasn't just a farewell. It was a reflection of a life lived openly, honestly, and beautifully. As the broadcast neared its end, Kelly looked out across the studio, a place that had witnessed her entire evolution. "This has been an incredible ride," she whispered. "One that I will cherish forever." The audience erupted, chanting her name as confetti fell. Her co-host embraced her tightly. The applause didn't stop. It grew louder, echoing through the walls like a celebration of everything she had been. And then, as the cameras slowly panned out, Kelly Ripa, the woman who had been part of millions of daily routines, waved one last time. A smile through tears, a goodbye that
Kelly's
didn't need
farewell
any words.
wasn't just about the end of a show. It was about transition, growth, and the courage to let go. For years, she had been the voice of comfort for so many, and now she was showing everyone what grace looks like when stepping away. Her departure left an empty chair, yes, but it also left a legacy of authenticity and connection that will never fade. Viewers compared her farewell to saying goodbye to a close friend, someone who had been there through breakups, births, careers, and quiet mornings. Because that's what Kelly was. More than a TV host, she was a reflection of her audience. She made people feel seen, heard, and understood. Her honesty about family, love, motherhood, and the everyday chaos of life made her not just relatable, but deeply human. The ripple effect of that moment went beyond television. Fans flooded social media with tributes, memories, and personal stories. People wrote about how she made them laugh during tough times, how her positivity helped them start their day, how she reminded them that it's okay to be imperfect. Even her former co-hosts and guests shared emotional messages, praising her professionalism, her kindness, and her ability to make everyone feel at home. It was clear that Kelly Ripa's legacy wasn't built on fame alone. It was built on empathy, humor, and connection. As she stepped away from the platform that defined her for so long, one thing became clear. This wasn't the end of Kelly Ripa's story. It was simply the beginning of a new one. Her departure marked a transformation from beloved host to a woman reclaiming her time, her health, and her peace. She may have said goodbye to live, but the impact she's made on television and in the hearts of millions will never fade. Because icons don't truly disappear. They evolve. They inspire. They remind us of what's possible when we lead with laughter and live with love. And so, as the credits rolled on that emotional morning, viewers around the world sat quietly, some crying, some smiling, all feeling the same bittersweet ache. It wasn't just the end of a show, it was the end of a shared era. But as Kelly Ripa walked off that familiar stage for the final time, her legacy remained behind. In every laugh she inspired, in every story she shared, and in every person who felt less alone because of her. Her farewell wasn't a goodbye. It was a reminder to embrace life, to find joy in the ordinary, and to face every ending with gratitude and grace. Because, as Kelly Ripa showed us, even when the curtain falls, the light she leaves behind continues to shine.